In the village of Olorunvale, the wind carried gossip the same way it carried dust, freely and without mercy. Every morning, before the sun fully woke, roosters announced the day and women tied their wrappers to sweep the earth in front of their huts. Children chased goats. Men sharpened cutlasses. Life followed a pattern as old as the red soil beneath their feet. And in that pattern there was a girl everyone noticed, for all the wrong reasons. Her name was Amara. Amara was fat. Not the kind of fat people praised when it came with wealth or fine clothes, but the kind they laughed at in a poor village. Her arms were round and soft, her thighs touched when she walked, and her cheeks looked permanently puffed, as if she was always holding laughter in her mouth. When she bent down, her breath came faster than others. When she ran, her wrapper rose and fell like waves. Children called her Big Yam. Women whispered, "No man will marry that one." Men pretended she was air. But every morning, Amara rose before dawn anyway. She lived in a small mud house at the edge of the village with her grandmother, Mama Kofi, whose back had bent like an old bough and whose eyes had faded like worn cloth. Their roof leaked when it rained, and lizards owned half the walls. But it was the only home Amara had ever known. She woke when the sky was still purple and the air smelled of damp earth. She swept the compound, fetched water from the stream, and roasted yams over a clay stove until their skins cracked and the sweet smell drifted into the road. Roasted yam was her business. It was not a business that made her rich, but it kept hunger away from her grandmother's mouth. She cut the yams thick and salted them lightly, wrapping them in old newspaper. Then she balanced the tray on her head and walked to the market. As she walked, the village woke. "Big Yam is coming!" a boy shouted one morning, pointing. His friends burst into laughter. Amara pretended not to hear. She kept her eyes forward and her chin high, like someone carrying an invisible crown. But inside her chest, something small shrank. At the well, women paused their gossip to stare. "That girl eats more than 3 people," one woman said loudly. "No wonder her mother died early, carrying all that weight," another replied, clicking her tongue. Amara's mother had died giving birth to her. It was a wound that never healed, and the women knew it. They still used it like salt on open skin. Amara swallowed hard and walked on. In the market, she arranged her yams neatly. Her hands were careful, gentle. She smiled at customers even when they did not smile back. "Yam! Hot yam!" she called softly. Some bought from her because her yams were sweeter than others. Some bought because Mama Kofi was respected. But many avoided her stall like sickness. When she laughed, people said it was too loud. When she cried, they said it was ugly. When she was quiet, they said she was lazy. There was no right way for Amara to exist. Yet Amara had a secret. When the market quieted and her tray was empty, she did not go home immediately. She walked to the edge of the forest where the trees leaned close together and the air smelled of leaves and mystery. There she spoke to birds. Not in words they understood, but in the language of patience. She dropped crumbs for ants. She untangled vines from baby trees. She carried injured goats back to their owners. If a child was lost, Amara found them. If an elder fell, Amara lifted them. Her body was heavy, but her heart was light. Mama Kofi often said, "A pot that looks cracked may still hold sweet water." Amara believed that, but the village did not. One afternoon, during the heat that melted thoughts and slowed even flies, the young men gathered under the mango tree and began their daily sport mockery. "Amara, if you fall, the earth will open," one shouted. "If she runs, rain will follow," another added. Laughter scattered like dry leaves. Amara was passing with a basket of yams for her grandmother. She paused, then kept walking. Her feet felt heavier than usual. That night, she sat outside her hut and watched fireflies flicker. "Grandmother," she said quietly, "do you think God made a mistake with me?" Mama Kofi did not answer immediately. She chewed her kola nut slowly. "Does the moon ask why it is not the sun?" she finally asked. Amara shook her head. "Then why do you ask why you are not thin?" "But no one sees me," Amara whispered. "They only see my body." Mama Kofi placed a wrinkled hand on her cheek. One day, someone will see your soul first. Amara wanted to believe her, but belief is hard when the world keeps shouting something else. That same week, something strange happened. A black bird began to follow Amara. It perched on the roof of her hut in the morning and waited. It hopped after her to the market and sat on the mango tree. When she walked to the forest, it flew above her head like a shadow with wings. People noticed. Witchcraft, one woman muttered. Even birds pity her, another said. But Amara felt comforted by it. When she dropped crumbs, it ate. When she sang softly while roasting yams, it tilted its head as if listening. It became her silent friend. In the heart of the great city of Aurelia, where glass towers pierced the clouds and roads shone like black rivers after rain, lived a man whose name was known in every boardroom and palace hall. Prince Zayden Atakunal. He was called a prince not only because his bloodline ruled an ancient kingdom, but because his father owned half the skyline. Banks bowed to his signature. Ministers waited for his approval. Fashion magazines chased his shadow. His face was everywhere: billboards, magazines, glowing screens in restaurants. Handsome, wealthy, untouchable. Yet every morning, Zayden woke with a tightness in his chest. As though the world expected something from him he did not know how to give. His day began before sunrise, not with rooster calls but with alarms and assistance. Your Highness, the oil contract meeting is at 8. Sir, the investors from Europe are waiting. The charity gala has been moved to Friday. Voices poured into his ears like water into a pot already full. He stood in front of a mirror in a penthouse bathroom that reflected him endlessly from every angle. His suit fit perfectly. His watch cost more than a village house. His face, sharp and smooth, looked like it had never known hunger. But his eyes looked tired. Zayden had been raised to rule, not to rest. From childhood, his steps had been measured. His laughter had been corrected. His friends had been chosen for him. His future had been announced before he could imagine it. You will marry well, his mother often said. You will expand the empire, his father commanded. You will never embarrass this family, both insisted. Every woman who smiled at him saw a crown before they saw a man. Every handshake wanted something. Every compliment hid a request. There were days he felt like a beautifully wrapped gift with nothing inside. One evening, after a dinner where a senator's daughter giggled too loudly and a business partner praised him too eagerly, Zayden stood by his balcony and looked down at the city. Lights blinked like stars trapped on Earth. I want to breathe, he whispered to no one. The wind carried no answer. That night, he made a decision that shocked even himself. He would leave, not in a convoy of black cars, not with cameras and guards, just as a man with legs and shoes and a hunger for silence. At dawn he dressed simply. Plain shirt, dark trousers, no jewelry. He took a small bag, his phone, and the keys to an old car he had once driven at university, before life had wrapped him in gold. He told no one. The city watched him disappear without knowing it was losing a prince. The road out of Aurelia stretched like a ribbon through farmlands and villages. Zayden drove with the window open, letting dust and wind touch his face. Felt like waking from a long dream. He passed schools with peeling paint, markets where women shouted prices, rivers where children splashed. For the first time, no one bowed. By afternoon, the sun pressed down hard, and the road narrowed into something that looked more like a promise than a path. His car began to cough. He slowed, coughed again. Then it died. Zayden sat in silence, staring at the steering wheel like it had betrayed him. Of course, he muttered. He stepped out and looked around. No buildings, just trees, a distant line of huts, and a sky that did not care about billionaires. He walked. Each step took him further from who he was supposed to be and closer to someone he had never met. By the time he reached Olo Runvale, dust covered his shoes and his pride had shrunk to the size of hunger. The village was small and brown and alive. Chickens crossed roads like they owned them. Smoke rose from cooking fires. Laughter spilled from somewhere. He felt strangely nervous. No one recognized him, and no one cared. At the market, smells wrapped around him: pepper, with smoke, roasted yam. His stomach twisted. That was when he saw her. She stood behind a tray of yams, round and calm, her face open like a window. Her body was large, but her eyes were soft. She looked like someone who belonged exactly where she stood. "You look hungry," she said. Zayden blinked. People in the city never spoke to him first. "I am," he admitted. "How much do you want?" He pointed. "That one." She gave him a bigger piece than he asked for. "Eat," she said. "Then pay." No one had ever trusted him like that. He bit into the yam. Heat and salt and smoke filled his mouth. It was simple, honest. "It tastes like peace," he said. She laughed. It was not the careful laugh of rich women. It was free and round. "I'm Amara," she said. "Zayden," he replied, leaving out everything else. They sat on a low bench near her stall. He watched people pass, men with baskets, children with no shoes, women with strong backs. He felt like a guest in a story he had never read. "What do you do?" she asked. He hesitated. "I work too much." She nodded like she understood deeply. Work can make the heart tired. No one had ever said that to him. They talked about small things, about yams and rain, about how birds sometimes steal food, about how the forest smells after storms. She did not ask him where he came from. She did not ask him what he owned. She did not look at his hands for rings. She only looked at his face. From the mango tree, a blackbird watched them. When he finished eating, he paid more than the yam cost. She frowned. "That is too much. In my village, we call that a thank you," he said. She smiled. As he stood to leave, a group of girls passed and whispered, "Why is he with her? Is he blind? Look at her size." Zayden heard them. Amara did too. Her shoulders sank slightly, like a roof under heavy rain. Something inside him stirred. He did not know her, but he knew that feeling. It was the feeling of being seen only for the wrong thing. "Will you be here tomorrow?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "Yam does not take holidays." He nodded. "Then I will come back." As he walked away, he felt lighter than he had in years. That night, he slept in a small roadside inn with thin walls and loud frogs. But for the first time in a long while, he slept without dreaming of contracts or crowns. In Aurelia, his assistants were already panicking. In Runvale, a fat village girl was roasting yams, unaware that destiny had just taken a seat beside her tray. And Prince Zayden Atakunal, heir to billions, smiled in the dark, thinking of roasted yam and a girl who spoke to him like he was human. Prince Zayden returned to the market the next morning with dust on his shoes and a strange feeling in his chest he did not recognize. In the city, his mornings were filled with schedules and screens. Here, they were filled with smoke from cooking fires and the smell of roasted yam. Amara saw him from far away. For a moment, she wondered if she had imagined him the day before. Handsome strangers did not usually stop at her stall, let alone return. "You came back," she said, surprised. "Yam is powerful," he replied. "It calls people." She laughed, and he felt something loosen inside him. She handed him a piece before he even asked. He sat on the low wooden bench beside her stall again. This time he noticed things he had missed before. The small scar on her wrist from firewood, the way she hummed when she turned the yams, the way her eyes softened when children passed. A small boy approached with empty hands. "Amara, Mama sent me. She has no money today." Amara took 2 pieces of yam and placed them in his hands. "Tell her hunger does not wait for payday," she said. Zayden watched. "Don't you lose money doing that?" he asked. She shrugged. "Money comes and goes, but shame stays. I don't like to give people shame." No woman in Aurelia had ever said anything like that to him. They began to talk as if they had known each other for years. He told her about the city without saying he owned it. She told him about her grandmother and the forest and how birds seemed to understand her. "Why do people laugh at you?" he asked carefully. Amara did not pretend not to understand. "Because I am fat," she said simply, "and poor, and my mother died when I was born. That is enough reason for people." He felt anger rise, hot and sudden. They laugh because they are small inside, he said. She smiled sadly. Small people still have loud mouths. As they spoke, eyes followed them. Village girls whispered behind baskets. Why is he always with her? He must be mad. Or she used charms. A woman spat on the ground. Fat girls don't catch handsome men. Something is wrong. Amara felt it like cold rain on her back. By afternoon, the sun was sharp and the market slow. Zayden helped her fan the coals. You don't have to, she said. I want to, he replied. When her tray emptied, she hesitated. I go to the forest after market, she said. My grandmother says I should not walk with strangers. He smiled. Then I will not walk with you. I will walk near you. She agreed. They walked together along the narrow path, the forest opening its mouth to swallow light. Cicadas sang. Leaves whispered secrets. She stopped near a fallen tree and sat. This is where I rest, she said. Zayden sat too. Do you ever wish you were someone else? He asked. Amara stared at the sky through branches. When I was younger, I wished I was thin. Then I wished I was pretty. Then I wished people would stop looking at me. Now I only wish to be useful. He thought of his penthouse and his name and his father's voice. I wish I was invisible, he said. She turned to him, surprised. Why? So people would talk to me instead of my shadow. She considered this. Then maybe we are both hiding. Something deep and quiet passed between them. From the trees the blackbird cried. That night, Amara dreamed of a road made of gold, and a man walking beside her without looking ahead. The next days folded into each other like cloth. Zayden came every morning. Sometimes he brought bread. Sometimes he brought nothing but questions. He learned how to roast yams. He burned some. She laughed. She learned that he hated loud rooms and loved silence. He learned she loved storms and feared mirrors. They became something the village did not understand. One afternoon, 3 girls blocked Amara's path. Is he your husband? One sneered. No, Amara said. Then why does he follow you like a goat? I did not invite him, Amara replied. Zayden stepped forward. I go where I am treated kindly. The girls hissed like cats. Don't waste your beauty on her, one said to him. Zayden looked at Amara. I am not wasting anything. They left in anger. That night, Mama Kofi watched Zayden walk Amara home and shook her head slowly. The wind has changed, she said. What do you mean? When strangers follow you twice, they want food. When they follow you 10 times, they want your story. Amara blushed. I don't even have a story. Mama Kofi smiled. Then one is coming. One evening, rain caught them in the forest. They ran under a big tree and laughed as water poured from the sky. Zayden removed his shirt and tied it over her head. Your grandmother will kill me, she said. She can try, he replied. They sat close. The world felt smaller. I have never told anyone this, Zayden said. But sometimes I feel like I don't belong anywhere. She looked at him. Belonging is not a place. It is a person. His heart hit something like a wall. The village gossip grew louder. They will shame us. He is using her. She used charms. Look at her body. Amara pretended not to hear. But one day she did. A man said loudly, even pigs find mates. Why is she lucky? Amara's hands shook. Zayden stepped between them. If you think luck is beauty, then you are blind, he said. The man walked away muttering. That night, Amara cried. Maybe you should not come anymore, she told Zayden. Why? Because people hurt you with me. He touched her hand. They have been hurting me long before you. She did not know what to say. In the dark, he looked at her and realized something dangerous. He did not come for Yam anymore. He came for her. And Amara, fat village girl with fire-scarred hands, felt destiny shifting its feet beside her stall. The moon festival was the pride of Olo Runvale. It was the one night in the year when even the poorest huts hung palm fronds on their doors and children were allowed to stay awake past sunset. Drums were beaten until hands blistered, and dancers moved like spirits across the red earth. Elders said the moon listened best on that night and granted silent wishes to those who danced with truth in their bodies. For Amara, the festival had always been something she watched from a distance. She sold roasted yam until her tray was empty, then stood near the fire with other women who were too tired, too shy, or too unwanted to dance. She clapped politely. She smiled when she had to. She went home early. But this year was different. This year she had Zayden. He came to the market that morning smiling like a man with secret news. "Tonight is the festival," he said. "Yes," Amara replied. "You will see dancing. I want to see you dance." Her laughter burst out before she could stop it. "You want to see a buffalo dance? I want to see you dance." Amara shook her head hard. "I don't dance in front of people." "Why?" "Because people look." He did not argue, but his eyes stayed on her with a patience that made her uncomfortable. By afternoon, the whispers began. "Tonight, we will see if she can dance. She walks like a drum. How will she turn? Let her embarrass herself." 3 village girls, slim, braided, proud, came to Amara's stall pretending kindness. "Amara, you must dance tonight," one said sweetly. "The moon loves brave people." "I don't dance," Amara replied. "But your friend will want to see you," another said, glancing at Zayden's empty bench. Amara felt the trap but could not see the rope. "Just one dance," the third said. "We will all dance together." That night, Amara wore her cleanest wrapper and a blouse Mama Kofi had sewn from leftover cloth. She tied her headscarf tightly to hide her round cheeks. Zayden waited for her outside her hut. "You look like a sunrise," he said. She laughed nervously. "Sunrise is thin." "No," he said. "Sunrise is honest." At the festival ground, firelight painted faces gold. Drums pounded. Young men leaped. Women spun like leaves in wind. The 3 girls found Amara quickly. "Come," they said, pulling her forward. The drumbeat changed. A fast dance. A thin dance. A dance for light feet. Amara stepped into the circle. At first, she moved slowly, carefully, like someone walking on glass. The girls moved fast, sharp, twisting and bending. Laughter rippled through the crowd. "She cannot keep up. Look at her shaking. Her shadow dances better." Sweat soaked Amara's face. Her heart beat too hard. Then her foot caught on a stone. She fell. Not gracefully, not quietly. She fell forward, her body hitting the ground with a sound like dropped fruit. Silence swallowed the drums. Then laughter came. Sharp, loud, cruel. "She broke the earth. Is the moon safe? Carry her with a wheelbarrow." Amara tried to stand. Her knee burned. Tears filled her eyes. She wished she could disappear into the dirt. Zayden pushed through the crowd. "Enough," he said. No one listened. "She thought she was beautiful," someone shouted. Zayden knelt beside her. "Look at me," he said. She did. He lifted her easily, as though her weight was nothing. "Anyone who laughs at her," he said, his voice cutting through the noise, "laughs at me." The crowd went quiet. "Anyone who thinks she is too big for love," he continued, "has a heart too small for truth." No one spoke. He carried her out of the circle while the drums beat weakly behind them. At the forest path, she broke down. "I told you," she cried. "I told you not to come." He set her on a fallen log. "They laughed at you," he said, "because they were afraid." "Afraid of what?" "Afraid that kindness can wear any body." She wiped her face. "You will leave now." He shook his head. "I will not." The next morning, the village woke with a story in its mouth. The fat girl fell. The stranger defended her. He carried her like a baby. Maybe he is mad. Maybe he is in love. Children imitated her fall. Women shook their heads. Men laughed. Amara did not go to the market. She stayed in bed, staring at the mud wall. "I am tired, grandmother," she whispered. Mama Kofi sighed. "The world is loud, but it is not deep." Near midday, a scream cut through the village. Fire! Smoke rose near the forest edge. A cooking fire had fallen into dry grass. Wind grabbed it. Flames ran. Huts caught. Panic exploded. Women ran with buckets. Men shouted orders. Children cried. Amara stood up without thinking. Her knee hurt. Her chest tightened. She grabbed a wet cloth and ran toward the fire. Amara! Mama Kofi shouted. Don't! But she did. The fire roared like a living thing. A child was trapped near a hut, crying. Amara pushed through smoke and lifted him. Heat bit her skin. She ran back and handed him to a woman. Then she ran again. She pulled out an old man coughing in ash. She guided 3 children holding hands. Her breath burned. Her arms shook. Zayden arrived running. Amara, he shouted. She pointed. There is a woman inside. They went together. He broke a door. She dragged the woman out. When the fire finally died, Amara collapsed. Her skin was black with soot. Her wrapper was torn. Her face streaked with ash and tears. The village stared. The girl they mocked had saved them. Zayden knelt beside her. Are you hurt? She shook her head weakly. You ran into fire for people who laugh at you, he said. She smiled tiredly. Fire does not choose who it burns. Neither should I. The elders came. They said nothing. The women who laughed at her covered their mouths. The men who mocked her lowered their eyes. The same people who called her Big Yam whispered, She is brave. She is strong. She is good. That night, the moon rose quietly. Zayden sat beside Amara outside her hut. Now they see you, he said. They see smoke, she replied. Not my heart. He looked at her with something dangerous and soft. I see your heart. And in that moment, in a village that once laughed at her body, a prince fell in love with her soul. The fire left scars on Olo Runvale. Charred wood lay like broken bones near the forest edge. Roofs were patched with palm leaves. The smell of smoke lingered in the air even days later, clinging to clothes and hair and memories. But the fire left something else behind too. Silence. Not the empty silence of night, but the heavy silence of people who had seen something they could not unsee. They had seen Amara run into fire. The same Amara they laughed at. The same Amara they called Big Yam. The same Amara they said no man would ever choose. Now, when she passed, people stared differently. Some nodded. Some looked away. Some whispered softer. Amara felt strange inside her own skin. She still roasted yams. She still swept her grandmother's compound. She still walked the forest path in the evenings. But her body felt heavier with something new. Attention. One morning, as she arranged her tray, an old woman approached her stall. Take, the woman said, dropping 3 coins. For the boy you saved. Amara blinked. Mama, you don't need. The woman raised her hand. Kindness should not go hungry. That day, her tray emptied faster than ever. But not everyone had changed. Under the mango tree, young men still laughed. She thinks she is a hero now. Fire does not mean beauty. She will still break chairs. Their words followed her like smoke. Zayden heard them. His hands clenched. Why do you let them talk? He asked her one afternoon. Because talking is easier than thinking, she replied. They walked toward the forest. The path was still blackened in places. Does your knee still hurt? He asked. Only when I remember it, she said. They sat on the fallen log where they often rested. Sunlight filtered through leaves like scattered gold. Amara, he said slowly. When you ran into the fire, were you not afraid? She thought about it. I was afraid, but the crying was louder. He stared at her. In Aurelia, people ran away from problems with speed and money. Here was a woman who ran into danger with only her body. Something inside him shifted again. That night, he dreamed of flames and a girl standing in the middle of them, unburned. 2 days after the fire, a rumor began to walk around the village on its own legs. The stranger will leave. City men do not stay. He will get tired of her. Amara pretended not to care, but she watched the road more than usual. On the 3rd day, a black car appeared at the village entrance. Then another. Then another. Dust rose. Men in dark clothes stepped out. Villagers froze. Who are they? Thieves, Government. Zayden saw them from Amara's stall. His face changed. Stay here, he said. He walked toward them. A man bowed. Your Highness. The word hit the air like thunder. Villagers gasped. Amara's hands went numb. Your father has been searching for you, the man said. The city is in chaos. Zayden looked back at Amara. She felt her heart fall into her stomach. That night, he did not come to her hut. Amara sat outside, listening to frogs in fear. Mama Kofi spoke quietly. The wind has carried a crown to your doorstep. What does that mean? Amara asked. It means this road is no longer simple. The next morning, Zayden came. His face was troubled. I did not tell you who I was, he said. You said you worked too much, she replied. He swallowed. I am more than that. She waited. I am Prince Zayden Atakunal. The words felt too big for her mouth. A prince. And a billionaire. Her mind broke the sentence into pieces. You own cities? I inherit them. She stepped back. The village laughed at her for being fat. Now fate laughed at her for loving a prince. Why did you come here? She asked. To breathe, he said. And then to meet you. Her chest hurt. You cannot stay, she whispered. I don't want to go. They will come for you, she said. They will not leave a prince in a yam market. He nodded. They already have. Silence sat between them. From the forest, the blackbird cried. I am not your kind, she said. I am not your world. He touched her hand. You are my peace. Her tears came. That night, villagers gathered. He is a prince. She tricked him. She used fire to catch him. Women spat. Men shook heads. Amara heard it all through the mud walls. Her courage from the fire did not protect her heart. The next day, Zayden's men began repairing the burned huts. They brought wood, food, medicine. Villagers watched in shock. He is helping us. He is not angry. Zayden moved among them without crown or convoy. He lifted wood. He spoke softly. People bowed. He did not let them. Amara watched from her stall. For the first time, she saw the weight he carried. At sunset, he came to her. My father wants me back. She said nothing. I will go, he said. But not forever. Her breath caught. I want to return for you. Her fear turned sharp. They will kill you with laughter, she said. Your people. They will try, he said. Why me? She asked. He answered simply. Because when the world burned, you ran into it. She covered her face. That night, rain fell, heavy, as if the sky was practicing for grief. Before dawn, the cars waited. Villagers gathered to see him leave. Some bowed. Some whispered. Some stared at Amara. Zayden walked to her. I will come back, he said. She shook her head. Princes forget villages. I will not forget you. He took her hand and placed something in it. A small silver ring. Not a promise of marriage, he said. A promise of return. Her fingers trembled. As the cars drove away, dust covered the road. Amara stood until the sound died. The blackbird flew after them. The village was quiet. The fire had taken huts. The road had taken a prince. And Amara, fat village girl with a heart shaped like courage, stood between what she was and what she might become. The city of Aurelia did not sleep. It glowed. Its buildings rose like metal trees, and its streets hummed with engines and ambition. From the sky, it looked like a field of stars pressed onto the earth. And in the highest place of all stood the palace tower of the Atakunal dynasty, where glass walls reflected wealth and history in equal measure. Prince Zayden returned to it like a man returning to a cage he had once escaped. News of his disappearance had shaken the city. Assistants rushed. Guards bowed. His father's voice thundered through marble halls. Do you know what you have done? King Atakunal demanded. You vanished like a beggar. I went to breathe, Zayden replied. You went to embarrass us. Zayden said nothing. His mother, the Queen Mother, watched him carefully. Her eyes were sharp and calculating, like someone measuring cloth for a garment that must fit exactly. You have changed, she said. I have learned, he answered. And in his chest, he carried the image of a fat village girl standing in smoke with children in her arms. Back in Runvale, Amara woke to the sound of roosters and absence. The road where Zayden's car had disappeared looked the same as always, dusty and quiet. But something inside her had moved. She roasted yams. She swept the compound. She walked to the forest. But the village did not leave her alone. They say he is a prince. They say he owns half the city. They say you wanted to trap him. A woman laughed. Fat girls don't marry princes. Don't dream too high. Amara said nothing. She dreamed anyway. At night, she imagined glass buildings and wide stairs and a man in fine clothes calling her name. In the morning, she woke and felt foolish. Weeks passed. Then one morning a letter arrived. Not in an envelope, but in the mouth of a boy who ran into the village shouting, Amara! City message. It was a card with a golden edge. Come to Aurelia. I will not forget you. Z. Her heart jumped and fell at the same time. Mama Kofi stared at the card like it was a snake. The sky is calling a chicken, she said. Be careful. Amara packed one wrapper, one blouse, and her grandmother's old necklace. She did not own more. The road swallowed her. Aurelia was louder than thunder. Cars roared like angry animals. People walked like ants with no time to greet each other. Tall buildings blocked the sun. Amara felt like she had stepped into another world's mouth. Zayden's driver found her at the bus station. He looked at her body. He looked at her clothes. He said nothing. The palace tower rose before her like a wall of light. Glass doors opened by themselves. Inside, the air smelled like flowers and money. Zayden ran to her. Amara! She looked at him and suddenly felt small. You came, he said. I did not know how to refuse a prince, she replied. He smiled sadly. He led her inside. Servants stared. Some hid smiles. Some whispered. She is fat. She is village. She is nothing. They took her to a room with white walls and soft bed. Rest, Zayden said. Tonight, you will meet my parents. Her stomach twisted. That night, Zayden wore a suit that made him look like a king carved from shadow. They walked into the dining hall. The king sat tall. The queen mother sat still. Their eyes fell on Amara. This is the girl, the queen mother said slowly. This is Amara, Zayden said. She saved lives in a fire. The king nodded once. Courage is good, but courage does not make a queen. Amara's throat closed. The queen mother spoke softly. What do you bring to this family? Amara searched for words. I bring loyalty, she said. I bring kindness. I bring a heart that does not run from fire. The queen mother smiled without warmth. Do you bring beauty? Silence. Amara felt her body suddenly heavy. I bring what I have, she said. The king waved his hand. You may eat. But the food tasted like ash. The next days were lessons in humiliation. They gave her dresses that did not fit, shoes that pinched. Servants giggled when she walked. Noble women stared like she was a mistake. One whispered loudly, Is she the cook? Another laughed. The prince wants a buffalo? Amara learned to walk with her eyes down. Zayden argued with his parents. I love her, he said. Love is not enough, the queen mother replied. You must marry an image. I will marry a human, he answered. The king slammed his staff. You will not shame this house. Amara overheard everything. Her heart felt like dry leaves. That night, she sat alone in her room. The mirror showed her body without mercy. She touched her cheeks. I do not belong here, she whispered. The next morning, she left. No guards stopped her. No servants asked. She walked out of the palace with her small bag and her grandmother's necklace. Zayden found her at the gate. Where are you going? Home, she said. Why? Because I am heavy here, she said. Not in body, in shame. He held her arm. I chose you. I did not choose your world, she replied. Tears ran down her face. They will never let me be queen. Then I will not be prince, he said. She shook her head. You will hate me one day. He looked at her like the fire night. I will hate the world first. But she pulled away. Let me go, she said. She returned to Runvale with her heart bent. The village saw her arrive alone. So the dream ended. We knew it. A fat girl cannot wear a crown. Amara roasted yams again, but her fire burned lower. In Aurelia, Zayden stood before his parents. She left, he said. Good, the Queen Mother replied. No, he said. Bad. You will marry Lady Celine, the king announced. Next month. Zayden laughed without joy. The fire girl will not leave my heart. Then burn with it, his father said. Zayden walked out of the hall and stared at the city. He saw smoke instead of lights. And far away, in a village that laughed at her body and now laughed at her dream, Amara carried yams and sorrow with the same hands. But destiny does not turn back easily. It only bends. Runvale had seen Amara leave like a girl chasing a dream. It saw her return like a woman carrying a broken one. She roasted yams again. She swept the compound again. She walked to the forest again. But something in her had changed. Before, she had carried shame like a basket on her head. Now, she carried disappointment like a stone in her chest. The villagers noticed. She came back alone. So the palace rejected her. Did she think she could marry gold? Children followed her, singing songs about fat queens who fell off thrones. Amara pretended not to hear. At night, she lay beside her grandmother and stared at the roof. Mama, she whispered, does love have legs? Or does it only have wings? Mama Kofi turned slowly. Love walks when it is real. It flies when it is a story. Amara closed her eyes. She told herself, it was only yam and fire and kindness. It was never meant to be a crown. In Aurelia, Zayden felt like a prisoner in silk. Lady Celine visited often. She was tall, slim, perfect like something drawn and erased until it pleased everyone. Her voice was gentle. Her smile was trained. I hear you like village food, she said once. He did not answer. I can learn, she added quickly. For you. He looked at her and saw no fire, only mirrors. At night, he dreamed of smoke and roasted yam and a girl who ran into flames. When his father announced the wedding date, Zayden stood up in the middle of the hall. I will not marry her. The king's voice was thunder. You will. No, Zayden said quietly. I will go back to the village. The queen mother's eyes hardened. To that girl. To my heart. You choose shame, she said. I choose truth. That night he packed without guards. Without convoy. Only one car and one decision. In Runvale, the Moon Festival drums were being tested again for the next year's celebration. Amara stood at her stall when she heard a familiar sound. An engine. Not the village kind. She looked up. Dust rose. A black car stopped. The door opened. Zayden stepped out. For a moment, neither of them moved. The village froze. Is that the prince? He came back. For her. Amara's knees weakened. You should not be here, she said when he reached her. I should be nowhere else, he replied. They walked to the forest path without speaking. The blackbird followed. I tried to forget you, he said finally. The palace helped me fail. She did not look at him. I left because I loved you, she said. Not because I was weak. I know, he replied. I did not want to be the woman they tolerate, she continued. I wanted to be the woman you choose. He stopped walking. I choose you, he said. Over my name. Over my crown. Over their world. Her breath caught. Don't say things that sound like rain, she whispered. Say things that sound like ground. I came to stay, he said. The forest listened. The village elders gathered that night. He is serious. He left wealth. He chose her. Some shook their heads. This will bring trouble. Royal trouble. Mama Kofi stood slowly. If a river flows backward, ask why. Zayden came to her hut. I want to marry your granddaughter, he said. Mama Kofi stared at him for a long time. Will you love her when the world calls her ugly? Yes. Will you stand when she is tired? Yes. Will you let her be herself? Yes. Then you may try, she said. Amara wept. The palace did not stay silent. Messages came. Threats wrapped in polite words. Return immediately. You embarrass us. You are throwing away legacy. Zayden burned the letters. The Queen Mother sent men. They stood at the village gate with black shoes and stiff faces. His Highness must return. Zayden stepped forward. I am not missing, he said. I am choosing. The men left. The village whispered. Can love fight a kingdom? Can a fat girl hold a prince? Amara heard every word. Her fear returned. That night, she told him, I will not be the stone in your shoe. You are the road, he said. But roads are trampled, she replied. And they lead people home, he said. One afternoon, as they sat near the forest, Amara spoke. I was born heavy, she said. Not only in body, in fate. My mother died because of me. He looked at her sharply. You did not kill your mother. The village thinks so. The village is wrong. I am not beautiful, she whispered. You are brave, he said. And bravery has a face. She touched her chest. What if they never accept me? Then I will accept you loudly, he replied. For the first time, she believed him. The Queen Mother arrived herself. She came with guards and perfume and cold eyes. She stood in the village square like a storm that had learned to walk. So this is where my son hides, she said. This is where I live, Amara replied softly. The Queen Mother looked her up and down. You will never be queen. Amara swallowed. I did not ask to be. You are fat, untrained, unfit. I ran into fire, Amara said. What have you run into? The Queen Mother's face tightened. You will ruin him. I will save him, Amara replied. From loneliness. The Queen Mother turned to Zayden. You will come home. He shook his head. I will make a home. Silence. Then laughter sharp. You think this village can hold a dynasty? No, he said. But love can. The Queen Mother left without blessing. But without victory. That night, under the same tree where Amara once fell, Zayden knelt. He had no ring, only a promise. Marry me, he said, not as a prince, as a man. Amara touched her face. I am afraid, she said. So am I, he replied. But fear is only a door. She looked at the village, at her grandmother, at the forest, at the road. Yes, she said. And in that moment, the fat village girl did what no one believed possible. She chose herself. She chose love. She chose a future the world did not design for her. The palace did not wait for love. It waited for obedience. 2 weeks after the Queen Mother left Olo Runvale in anger, the storm returned. Louder and dressed in power. This time it did not come with threats. Came with law. Royal guards arrived at dawn, their boots cutting straight lines into village dust. A scroll was read in the square. Prince Zayden Atakunal is commanded to return to Aurelia at once. Any refusal shall be seen as rebellion against the crown. Villagers gathered like frightened birds. He will be arrested. They will drag him away. This love will bring war. Amara stood beside Zayden, her hands trembling. I told you, she whispered. They will crush you. Zayden held her hand. Then I will stand. Mama Kofi stepped forward. If a tree falls, it should fall facing the sun. Zayden looked at Amara. Come with me. Her heart beat like a drum. To the palace? She asked. To the storm, he replied. The village watched them leave like people watching the end of a story. Aurelia received them like a drumbeat of eyes. Cameras flashed. News spread like fire. Prince returns with fat village girl. Crowds gathered outside the palace gates. She used charm. She trapped him. She is not fit. Amara's legs shook. Zayden walked beside her like a wall. Inside, the palace felt colder than before. The Queen Mother waited. The king waited. So did noblewomen dressed like flowers without scent. So you brought her, the Queen Mother said. Yes, Zayden replied. You defy us openly, the king said. I obey my heart. The queen mother turned to Amara. If you love him, leave him. Amara's throat closed. I came to face you, she said. Then you will be tested, the queen mother replied. They announced the trial of worth. An old tradition. 3 tasks. If she passes, the queen mother said, she may stand beside you. If she fails, she leaves. The palace buzzed. The first task was the Feast of Grace. Amara was brought into a hall of spoons and gold plates. Royal ladies whispered. She was made to serve nobles without spilling, without shaking, without breaking. Her hands trembled. A lady tripped her foot. Soup splashed. Laughter exploded. Clumsy. Village. Amara bent and cleaned it herself. I am not above the floor, she said. The queen mother frowned. The second task was the Garden of Balance. A narrow bridge crossed a pond of lotus flowers. She was told to walk across carrying a bowl of water without spilling. Whispers followed her. She is too heavy. The bridge will break. She stepped slowly. Her foot slipped. She steadied herself. Halfway, she heard a woman laugh. She almost fell. Then she remembered the fire. She remembered the crying. She crossed. Only a few drops spilled. The crowd went quiet. The third task was the hardest. The Chamber of Truth. Amara was brought before elders and nobles. Why do you want to marry the prince? They asked. She looked around the room of silk and power. I don't want his money, she said. I don't want his name. I want the man who ate yam and said it tasted like peace. They laughed. She continued. When fire came, I ran. When shame came, I stayed. I don't love him because he is a prince. I love him because he is lonely. Silence fell. The queen mother stood. You are still unfit. Maybe, Amara replied, but I am real. The queen mother's face hardened. Then leave. Zayden stepped forward. Then I leave too. Gasps filled the hall. The king slammed his staff. Stop! The queen mother looked at her son, then at Amara, then at the crowd. Let the people decide, she said coldly. They brought Amara before the city. Screens showed her face. Crowds watched. A fat village girl wants to be queen. Reporters asked questions like knives. Why should the nation accept you? Do you represent beauty? Are you using the prince? Amara stood in simple cloth. I represent courage, she said. I represent those you laugh at. I represent the girl you told to hide. Some laughed. Some listened. A woman cried. A man lowered his head. The city argued all night. That night, Amara sat alone. She stared at her reflection in glass. I am not built for palaces, she whispered. Zayden knelt before her. You are built for truth. What if they win? Then we lose together. She touched his face. I don't want to be your shame. You are my pride. The queen mother did not sleep. Neither did the city. By morning, the storm broke. The king announced, she may stay, but the world will watch. The queen mother turned away. Not defeated. Not yet. Amara was allowed to remain but not welcomed. Servants still whispered. Nobles still mocked. She walked halls that were not hers. But she walked them standing. In the palace, people began to say, she does not bow. She does not cry. She is different. And far away in Olo Runvale, Mama Kofi sat by the fire and smiled. The chicken has entered the sky, she said. Now we will see if the sky can hold her. By the time the palace announced the wedding, the city of Aurelia had already chosen sides. Some cheered. Some cursed. Some laughed. Some prayed. Newspapers screamed. Prince to marry fat village girl, royal scandal shakes dynasty, beauty or bravery. Images of Amara's round face filled screens across the nation. People who had never seen Olo Runvale spoke as if they had grown there. She is too ugly for a crown. She trapped him with village magic. He is wasting his bloodline. Let him marry who he wants. Arguments broke families apart. In Olo Runvale, villagers gathered around radios. They are talking about Amara. Our Amara. The one who sold yam. Mama Kofi sat quietly, her eyes wet. The world has discovered her body, she said. Now it must discover her soul. In the palace, Amara was dressed and undressed like cloth. Designers argued over her size. Hide her arms. Lift her chest. Make her waist look smaller. Amara stood still while pins stabbed fabric. Why must I be changed? She asked softly. Because the world is cruel, a woman replied. No, Amara said. Because the world is afraid. They fell silent. Zayden visited her room that night. Are you ready? He asked. For noise? She replied. No. For us? He said. She nodded. Always. He held her face. They will stare. Let them, she said. I survived fire. The wedding day rose like a drumbeat. Crowds filled the streets. Drones buzzed like flies. Police lined roads with steel faces. Inside the palace chapel, gold and white fought for space. Royal women sat in silk. Politicians adjusted ties. Foreign kings watched screens. And in a small room, Amara stood barefoot on a rug. Her wedding dress was wide and flowing, made from cloth that shimmered like dawn. It did not hide her body. It honored it. Her arms were bare. Her cheeks glowed. Her grandmother's necklace rested on her chest. She looked in the mirror. For once, she did not wish to be thin. She wished to be brave. When the doors opened, silence fell like a held breath. Amara walked down the long aisle. Every step was a war. Eyes followed her. Some shocked. Some angry. Some curious. She is really fat. She is really confident. She is really walking. Zayden waited at the altar. He did not look at the crowd. He looked at her. The priest began. Do you, Prince Zayden Atakunal? I do, Zayden said before the question finished. Laughter rippled. And do you, Amara of Olorunvale? She hesitated. Images filled her mind. Fire, mockery, palace halls, yams, her grandmother's hands. I do, she said. They exchanged rings. The crowd clapped without rhythm. Outside, protesters shouted. Inside, musicians played. It was a wedding inside a storm. After the ceremony, they stepped onto the palace balcony. The city roared. Show her. Bring her out. Let us see the queen. Zayden stepped forward with Amara. She raised her hand. A man shouted, You don't deserve him. Amara took the microphone. I didn't ask for him, she said. He chose me. The crowd quieted. I am not beautiful like your magazines, she continued. I am not trained like your queens. But when fire came, I ran. When love came, I stayed. Some clapped. Some booed. A woman cried. A boy waved. History tilted. Inside the palace, the reception began. Tables overflowed. Crystal glasses clinked. Noble women whispered. She will embarrass us. She will fall. She will eat too much. Amara heard them. She walked to a group of servants. Please eat, she said, handing them plates. Zayden watched her and smiled. The queen mother sat stiff and silent. At one table, Lady Celine sat with a forced smile. You look different, she said. Amara nodded. So do you. Celine's lips tightened. Then the dance began. The band played a slow rhythm. Zayden held Amara's hand. They stepped onto the floor. Whispers rose. She will fall again. Look at her feet. She is too big. Amara remembered the moon festival. She almost froze. Then she felt Zayden's hand. Don't dance for them, he whispered. Dance for the fire. She closed her eyes. She moved. Not fast. Not thin. But true. Her body swayed like a tree in wind. The music wrapped around her. The room fell quiet. For the first time, they did not see her size. They saw her joy. When the song ended, applause broke like rain. Even the queen mother clapped once. Outside the palace gates, something else happened. A fire broke out. Not of wood. Of anger. A group of protesters tried to push through. Police blocked them. Shouting filled the street. This wedding is an insult. Take her away. A stone flew. Glass shattered. The news spread fast. Inside the palace, fear walked. Zayden stood. "No more hiding," he said. He took Amara's hand and walked outside. Guards protested. He ignored them. Amara's heart beat like a drum. They stood before the crowd. "You married her to shame us," a man shouted. Zayden spoke. "I married her because she ran into fire when you ran away." The man hesitated. Amara stepped forward. "If you hate me, she said. "But don't pretend I stole him." Silence fell. A woman in the crowd shouted, "My daughter is fat. She cries every night." Amara looked at her. "Tell her her body is not a crime." The woman wept. People lowered stones. The anger did not vanish, but it bent. That night, the city burned with debate. Some channels called it disgrace. Some called it history. Some called it madness. Amara sat on the palace bed, exhausted. "Did we make a mistake?" she asked. Zayden shook his head. "We made noise." She laughed softly. "In the village, noise means trouble. In the palace," he said, "noise means change." She leaned into him. "Will they ever love me?" "They will learn," he replied, "or they will live without us." Far away in Olorunvale, Mama Kofi sat by the fire. "They married," a boy shouted. The village gathered. Some shook heads. Some smiled. "She did it. She climbed the sky." Mama Kofi raised her hands. "The yam seller has become a queen," she said. "But let her not forget fire." In the palace, Amara stood by the window. Lights filled the city. She touched her necklace. "I am still fat," she said. Zayden kissed her hand. "And still chosen." Outside, the world argued. Inside, love learned how to sit on a throne. Power does not always roar. Sometimes it whispers. After the wedding, the palace expected Amara to disappear into silence, to become a decoration beside a throne, smiling when told and hiding when convenient. But Amara did not know how to disappear. She woke early as she always had. She walked slowly, as she always had. She asked questions as she always had. Servants noticed first. She greeted them by name. She asked if their children were well. She ate with them when no one was watching. "She is strange," one servant said. "She is kind," another replied. In the council chambers, men discussed trade and roads and oil. Amara listened. One day, she said, "Why do villages burn while cities shine?" The room went quiet. "That is not a queen's concern," a minister said. She looked at him calmly. "It was when I carried children out of fire." Zayden watched her and said nothing. The queen mother watched from a distance. "She is too loud for royalty," she told the king. "She is too village." The king did not answer. One afternoon, a message arrived from Olorunvale. A small fire had broken out again. No one died, but roofs were lost. Amara read the letter and felt her chest tighten. "I want to go home," she told Zayden. "Home is here now," he said. "Home is where people are burning," she replied. The palace prepared a convoy. News spread. Queen returns to village. Crowds lined the road. She will go and cry. She will go and pose for cameras. Amara did not cry. She did not pose. She carried wood. She held crying women. She organized food. People stared. "She is still one of us," a man said. When she returned to Aurelia, something had changed. The palace could no longer pretend she was only a body. In the city, schools began to invite her. Not for fashion. Not for beauty. But for stories. She spoke to girls who hid their faces. "I was fat before I was queen," she said. "I was mocked before I was married. I ran into fire before I was chosen." A thin girl raised her hand. "Did the fire make you brave?" "No," Amara said. "It showed me I already was." The girls clapped. Some cried. But not everyone was learning. One evening, Amara saw a magazine cover. "Is the fat queen a mistake?" She stared at the picture. Her old shame tried to return. She went to the mirror. She touched her arms. "I am still heavy," she whispered. Zayden came behind her. And the crown is still heavy, he replied. Should we throw it away too? She laughed softly. They will never stop measuring me, she said. Then let them, he replied. We will keep moving. The Queen Mother did not move. She invited Amara for tea. They sat across from each other like two seasons. You think kindness makes a queen, the Queen Mother said. I think courage does, Amara replied. You embarrass tradition. I am tradition, Amara said. From the fireside. The Queen Mother's eyes sharpened. You will be blamed if he falls. Amara nodded. Then I will stand if he falls. Silence stretched. For the first time, the Queen Mother did not insult her. 1 year after the wedding, a drought struck the north. Villages lost crops. Children fainted in schools. The government argued. Amara stood before the council. Open the palace doors, she said. They are for emergencies, a minister replied. This is fire without smoke, she said. They opened them. Food moved. Lives stayed. The city newspapers changed tone. Fat queen feeds the poor. Some still mocked the words. But the meaning stood. In Runvale, elders told the story differently now. Once, there was a fat girl who sold yam. They laughed at her body. But they could not laugh at her fire. Children stopped calling her Big Yam. They called her Fire Woman. Mama Kofi grew old and blind. Amara visited often. You climbed the sky, Mama Kofi said. I carried the village with me, Amara replied. Mama Kofi smiled. Then you are not lost. Years passed. Amara's body did not shrink. Her courage grew. When foreign leaders came, they saw a queen who did not hide. When critics spoke, she did not break. When girls wrote letters saying, I look like you, she answered them herself. And one day, when a new fire broke out in another village, Amara did not send only money. She went. Smoke rose. People shouted. And the queen lifted a child again. Is she mad? A man whispered. No, another said. She remembers. One evening, as the sun dipped into the city like a coin into water, Amara and Zayden stood on the palace balcony. Do you regret it? She asked. Leaving everything? He replied. No. Choosing me? He looked at her. When the world burned, you ran, he said. When the world mocked, you stayed. When the world crowned, you served. She leaned into him. I was never beautiful, she said. You were never invisible, he replied. Below them, the city hummed. Not with anger this time. With life. And this is the story elders now tell. That a fat village girl once sold roasted yam by the roadside. That she was laughed at for her body. That she was mocked for her dreams. That she was tested by fire and by crowns. And that she did not become great by becoming thin, but by becoming brave. So when a child cries because they are too big or too dark or too poor or too different, the elders say, remember Amara. She was heavy in body, but her heart carried a kingdom. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to this channel and tell us where you are watching from. Have a wonderful day.